racing.
Good afternoon and welcome to On the Spot Motorsports Media. I'm your host, Mitchell Gunter, right along with Robert Simpson. And I tell you what, Becca Monopoli is going to be joining us. She is another ARCA Series driver, and we're going to talk to her tonight about her career, how she cut her teeth, and got where she is today. We're going to talk about all of her championships and also her wins, which are extensive. You're not going to believe how well she has done. And I know probably her next step in her career, she would love to step in a Craftsman truck or the Xfinity Series. But before we get into all of that, we have a quick couple of commercials, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit, we'll protect it.
Ready to take your engine to the next level? Scorpion Racing Products delivers precision-engineered, high-performance rocker arms that dominate the track. 100% CNC machined in the USA with aerospace-grade aluminum for unmatched strength and durability. Our rocker arms handle extreme conditions with multiple ratios available to fit your needs. Backed by our exclusive lifetime warranty. When performance matters, choose Scorpion Racing Products. Proven, reliable, unstoppable.
With more than 30 years of engine and drivetrain experience, Big Stuff is your one-stop total power management solution. Whether you're controlling a 600 horsepower street car and want the best drivability, or have a 6,000 horsepower race car, need the most bulletproof, reliable control hardware, Big Stuff can do it all. All of our components are designed and manufactured right here in the USA, including our computers, wiring harnesses, touchscreen displays, and more. Nothing is built offshore, and we take pride in being one of the only automotive aftermarket manufacturers that can say this. Learn more at BigStuff3EFI.com or connect with us on Facebook and Instagram for more information.
Well, I want to thank you, Becca, for coming on here tonight, and so we can actually dive in a little bit and find out a little bit more about you and how you got to the ARCA Series. So where did this all begin? Where did your love for circle track racing come from?
Well, I would say, I grew up around it. My dad was crew chief of many of the local guys, so I always wanted to try, but being an only child, they wouldn't let me. So I started when I was, I was late starter. I started when I was 21. Most of these guys start when they're 5 years old in go-karts, and my go-kart was one of those backyard go-karts you get at Sam's that they're really fun, but they're not racing carts. And my sim back in the day was Nintendo 64 Mario Kart. So that's where I learned how to race. all these kids on these high dollar rigs, and I got a little controller and dropping banana peels and stuff. But but yeah, it just started, eventually got to try it, and we went and tested a legend car, and my dad's like, if you're not any good, we're not going to do this. I'm not going to buy one. But ended up doing decent enough to get one. I got to do a little, my dad hates this story that we tell it still, but he also tested it the same day as me, and luckily I went first because he put it into the turn 1 and 2 wall. I had to get a clip. Yeah. Okay. I'm the driver of the family. He's the mechanic. Yeah.
Got you. He probably got out and said, that's on me. That's on me.
So when you raced in the Legend Series, what tracks did you go to? Did you mostly race here in Florida, or did you travel up North Carolina and race, at some of those tracks like, let's say, I'm trying to think of a good one that a lot of people go to, and it was right on the tip of my tongue, and I lost it. But
don't go to Atlanta.
Okay. Have you ever done the Roval?
No. We never traveled until recently, right before ARCA started. So all my races have been in Florida. I started at Auburndale with the Legend. We went to Punta Gorda was my very first race back when there was a track in Punta Gorda.
Right.
DeSoto before Cletus had it. And Citrus. Those are where we went with the Legend. So we stayed around the state.
Okay.
Gotcha. But yeah, Miss Becca, thank you very much for coming on tonight. I mean, you're trying to get your schedule. Mitchell is like going, she is very, very busy, so it's hard to catch her. So thank you very much.
Well, thanks for having me.
Coming on. And I'm glad to actually be talking to somebody that started and did all of their beginning racing in the state. Because usually, you know, we meet people from out of state or they're on a state line, so they cross over a lot. So I had forgotten about a couple of the tracks you talked about. And I know DeSoto, before Cletus bought it, it was a challenge. That track was a challenge for sure. So glad to see it. But please continue. Once you grew out of the Legends, what'd you go to?
So we started doing double duty with the Legend and the truck. Dad had been eyeballing some other people's trucks when we were running. Oh, I forgot Orlando. Orlando was one of them too that we ran. In Orlando, the oval track is closed now. They just do the drag strip, but that track was great. But he liked some of the trucks that were around there, and he finally found one that he liked and called the guy up like, "Hey, you willing to sell?" And like, no. And then eventually he wore him down, and we went and got the truck, and I still run it. It's my black and green one. So we did that for a couple years. Then we got rid of the Legend, ran just the trucks. Yes, that one. And then we ended up getting a super late model, and we ran that with the truck for a few years. And it's been a few years now that we've sold it. The year that Dad wanted to sell it, the very first night of the race, I set the pole for the first time at Auburndale. And he's like, "Well, I guess we can't sell it now." Like, no.
You're like, no, yeah. You ride that streak, right?
Yeah. But also that year, everybody decided to drive with their heads up their butts. And we got wrecked like 4 races in a row, and supers aren't cheap to fix. So we ended up selling it after that year. But it sucks because it was like right as we got the hang of it and was running up front with it. But I got I got 2 wins in the super and a championship with it. So I was happy.
Gee, you're like, oh yeah, just a championship. You know what I mean? That's very hard to earn, no matter what you have.
Oh yeah.
And go ahead, Mitchell.
And so you mentioned championships. So how many championships do you have total, and what categories are they in?
So I have 20 championships total, between track championships, state championships, and series championships. And there was one year, I think 2017, that I got 3 championships in 1 year between track, series, and state, I think it was. So yeah, I'm up to 20, but the racing gods haven't been on our side the last couple of years, so I've been stuck at 20 for a little bit now.
Oh my goodness. You're just like going, 20. That's just mind numbing. You know, I mean, 1 or 2, it's so hard fought to get that, and you've worked very hard with your family to do that. Now, did Mitchell ask what series were these championships in?
They spread between Legends, Pro Trucks, and Super Late Model, and most of them are in the trucks. But I have 97 wins between Legends, trucks, supers, and an open wheel modified. One of the track owners had an open wheel, and he's like, "Hey, you want to race it tonight?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I got to race that a couple times, and I finally ended up winning it in one of them. And that was cool because we were running the truck, the super, and the modified all in one night. So just keep your gear on, get out of one, get into the next, and just do that again. So that was fun.
Wow. But
So I know you mentioned your Legend. Do you still have it?
No, we don't have those anymore.
Okay, I didn't know
like
if
to get
every
back
once in
in
a while
one.
you wanted to jump over there and run a couple here and there.
Yeah.
But they are very unique. I think they're the route to go for anyone coming up in the ovals to get in a short wheelbase car like that and learn how to drive, because you're driving that car the whole entire time.
Right.
When you get in a super late model or something like that, it's like driving a Cadillac compared to driving a Legend. You're always busy.
Yeah. And I've always been told that if you can drive a Legend, you can drive anything. So that's what I learned on. So I didn't know any different. So it helped a lot going into the bigger trucks. And you have the open wheels with the Legends, so you got to kind of learn not to bang off of everybody.
Right,
But
right.
it doesn't stop them.
Right.
It doesn't stop him. But I mean, of everything that you've driven, both past and present, was there a series or a cars that was more fun to drive, and you had a lot more fun driving? I mean,
So
everything's a challenge. Everything's a challenge, But
It is. And some nights are more fun than others, just depending on how
course.
you do. But I really enjoyed the open wheel modified. It was the speed of my super with the control of my truck. So that was really fun. It was like combo of both of them. And we got to go to dirt racing with the truck for a couple times. That was
Ooh.
pretty fun too. So a little bit different of a venue, but it was, instead of the pressure, because it wasn't a points night, it was just for fun. The series had went there. It was just so much fun without the pressure, just something different to try, learning the dirt and going sideways on purpose and being controlled, and it was really cool. That was fun too.
So how was that, making that transition off of asphalt over to dirt? Did it take you a few laps to actually know how to turn, a little bit to the left instead of turning right to get the rear end to kind of come around for you?
Oh, for sure. So the first one we did was in North Florida Speedway.
Okay.
Was it North Florida or Lake City? There's a dirt track up there, but they're like one side of the exit and the other. I had never been to or seen a dirt track race in my life. So I'm like, I want to go. And Dad's like, we're not dirt racers. I'm like, I want to go. And so the first time we went, we drove all the way up there. We got rained out. So they rescheduled, and we were having twin 20s. So we get up there, and of course, all of us asphalt people out there look like t-ball players on their first day. We pull out on the track, and they try and spin their tires, and they're spinning out before we even get the green to go. So it was entertaining. You see the boys that wanted to show off that weren't showing off.
Right.
And there was one of us that had actually had dirt experience, so we all expected him to win. And that track is very hard and dusty. It's not a wet dirt. So it drove a little bit like asphalt, but we also had our windshield in still. So the dust was inside the windshield and outside. So it wasn't going anywhere, and it was like white out. Like if you're driving in the rain and you hit a light down the road, and that's what it looked like, because you couldn't see anything. So I'm like peeking out the side window as I'm driving. I ended up winning. And I was like, what? We were all shocked. So we do the next race. I won that one too.
Well, you better have a good spotter. You better have a real good spotter. You drive into the lights,
Yeah. My dad was my spotter, and he said, I can't see anything from this turn to this turn. It's all you. So he couldn't see anything either. Yeah.
You're like, oh,
Spotter wasn't
gosh.
helpful too much.
Yeah, okay. That was a bit of a challenge.
Someone asked me a while back, says, I'm thinking about going to a dirt track race. I says, have you ever been? They're like, no. I said, well, let me give you some pointers. Have you a scarf to go over your nose and mouth? And they kind of looked at me weird. I said, don't wear any good clothes. Wear a hat. And they're like, why? I said, well, I tell you what, once you go to the track and dress the way you want to, and then you come back and tell me what your experience was like sitting in the stands.
At the old track here in Jacksonville, that's how it was. It was a dirt track, because turn 4, there were stands would start at turn 4 and go all the way to turn 1. Okay, the diehards got down at the seats in turn 4. Okay, and they're there with the plastic sheets and the goggles, you know what I mean? And they just loved it because they always got sprayed. And you can always tell the people that come out there and had no idea why there's not a lot of people sitting over there. Only a couple. Everybody's farther down, about 3 or 4 laps, 5 laps in on a heat race. They find out real quick, and you see them run. But it's a lot of fun. Going to dirt tracks is a lot of fun. It really, especially if you can get up, if the grandstands and everything's up close to the action. It's always good. What was your
We ended up going to Volusia as well, and that one's
ah?
much wetter dirt.
Mhm.
Um, and it was fun too. That was more of sliding. We had to wait. We don't. I didn't know this. Dirt track racing, you don't get much practice. So we used our qualifying as practice because you only get like 4 laps at a time and
Mhm.
maybe 2 rounds. And that's not what we're used to. So our qualifying was kind of a practice too. But we had to wait for so long because a cop decided he was going to start pulling out on the track. Well, then his truck just started sliding sideways and he got stuck down in the mud at the bottom because he hit one of the Jersey barriers. And we had to wait for his boss to come out and write up the report and everything. So that took a couple hours of our day of practicing away from it.
That's
But
pretty comical, though.
yeah,
That,
yeah,
Boy, that meeting the next day was not going to be good, or the next
yeah.
week. Oh my goodness! But yeah, now tell us, of all the tracks you've run down here in Florida and in the South, what past and present, what was your favorite tracks?
So before last year, I would tell you Orlando's my favorite track. That one is one of the most symmetrical tracks that we have. The banking's good. Both ends drive the same. It's really fun. But last year I got to go to Pensacola for the
Hmm.
first time, Five Flags, and I really like that one. And Nashville. Pensacola and Nashville are my new two favorites. We had the ARCA race at Five Flags, and the night before they had pro trucks. So we're like, well, let's bring our truck and we'll get that extra bit of seat time because you don't get a whole lot of practice in ARCA and you can't practice at the tracks that you race at with the ARCA car. So, like, it'll help some. And it was so much fun with the truck. And then it definitely helped the next night with the ARCA car because I already knew the line at that point. So it takes away that 5-10 lap learning curve. So more time to just get the speed.
yeah, and the track I was trying to think of earlier in North Carolina was Hickory. Have
That's
you
our
ever
first
raced
race
there?
this year.
Okay, that's your first race. Yeah.
That makes sense. Now, with you taking the truck out there, were you able to use a little bit of information from the setup of the truck and use it over on the ARCA car, or are they just totally just two different animals?
They are very different. So my truck and the trucks that run there have different rule packages.
Hmm.
So we were trying not to do too much, but I was having to hold myself back and wave people by, like, come on, it's your points, go. But we couldn't really do that with the same setup for ARCA. I mean, it's 26 or 2,800 pounds for the truck versus 3,300 pounds for the car.
Oh yeah, oh
So
yeah.
it's a big difference. I drive my truck in so deep and it sticks. Well, you try and drive the car and it's like, nope, it's going up. So
Right.
it's pretty different, but the line, you could do the line still.
Okay. Okay. So I see what you're saying. Whenever you said that the practice that you got, it helped you figure out the line that works best, and then you can use that over on the other vehicle. But I didn't realize the weight difference was so much.
Oh
I
yeah.
thought the trucks were a little bit closer to ARCA weight. I didn't realize it was that substantially different. So, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But what
You
what kind
definitely
of
learn it.
what kind of speed did the trucks have?
On a quarter mile, it's about 75. At New
Oh,
Smyrna on the half mile, it's right around 100.
I was getting ready. 75 on a quarter mile oval is moving. That I mean, that really is on that little tight bull ring. That's moving.
Of course, you don't feel it though. They had one of those road signs that tells you the speed as you're going by, and that's the only reason I know what it is on the quarter mile. That one of the tracks had it at one point, and it was like 74 by the end of the straightaway. So it's average 75, I'll say.
It's still
Well,
impressive.
there might be a new track. Well, it's not a new track, but there might be a track reopening. I know they're doing a lot of testing there, and I was wondering, is that something that you would like to try in a pro trucks? Is Bronson Speedway?
I love Bronson. I've raced there with the Legend and the truck. Um, it is such a funky track. You go into turn one down low, you let it slide up to middle, and then you come back down off the bottom of two, and then it drifts uphill, uphill or downhill. I think downhill for the back stretch. And it's Jersey barriers, so you can't hit those or else you're going up.
Right.
And then 3 and 4 is completely different. So it's a fun track to drive.
Yeah, and I tell you, they've been running cars out there. They've been testing, and I really would love them to bring that back where they can start having races out there once again. because man, that place used to be packed to the max, and it was great for the economy for Levy County at the same time. Right there in Bronson. So I'm hoping they'll start. They're able to start painting it back up, and I would love to go back there and see a race.
I will say they have the best bathrooms of any of the racetracks. That
Hey,
matters.
that's always a plus.
No, it does. That means my wife will go. That
Yeah.
means because she always, you can ask Mitchell. She always asks that if I ask her if she wants to go and we're going to a new track or whatever. She'll ask that, and I'm like, oh well, that's a legit question. You know what I mean? So
I'm not going to mention the track, but you probably know the track I'm talking about. I went to the bathroom and I'm like, oh, this thing needs to be condemned. And the track is here in Florida. I'm like, this is terrible.
I'm thinking it's probably the half-mile track on the East Coast that you're talking about.
Yeah. It's the
Yeah.
kind that you kind of want to just run back out to your car and drive to a 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The stalls in that one are like elementary school. They come up to here, so you're just kind of like, hi.
Yep.
It's weird.
Awkward conversation in the men's room. You're like, no. It's like going, yeah, this is ugly. Yeah, and it's funny. Those little, that example of those certain little touches that some tracks take, to help improve upon. That's small, but it means a lot. It means a lot, especially to families. Like I said, my wife, when she used to go to Green Cove, drag strip that used to be at Green Cove, and it was that everything was portable. The tower was portable, and everything was portable. And okay, she went there a couple times, and she's like, "Going, honey, no. I love you, but no, I'm not.
Truck.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it." And from the first time to the last time, they improved it, so she did at least come back. But she come out telling and laughing and giggling and telling me those stuff, and she was polite. She goes, "I'm not doing that again." So I was just like going, "Nope." But same thing. It was a down home little track and had simple amenities. But yeah, I tell you, how many different tracks you think you've run? It sounds like you've run about 8 or 12 of them.
So from south up, we got Punta Gorda, DeSoto, Bronson, Citrus, New Smyrna, Auburndale, Showtime, Pensacola, Cordele, and the 2 dirt. So I'd say 11 tracks.
Okay.
And I've been on Langley for like a little testing, but I wouldn't really count it. I went for the diversity program one year, and they gave us like 15, 20 laps, and then that was it. In a car that we don't know, on a track we don't know, so it was kind of hard to show your stuff, but
Right.
it was interesting. I wouldn't mind going back just to do better, but I've been through a lot. Oh, I didn't count all any of the ARCA races. Okay, everything I said is for the local stuff.
Right.
ARCA, there's more.
True. Because I know you said Nashville was for one. What tracks have you competed in at ARCA? Because I know the first year you did 2 events.
Yes.
Okay, and I think you did, was it 4 or 6 last year? 6?
There was
think it's
8 last year.
8 last year, excuse me.
Yes.
Okay, so where all did you compete at?
So we went to Daytona, Nashville, 5 Flags, IRP, Toledo, Alco, Berlin, and I feel like I'm missing
right.
one. Yeah.
A lot of people like to run there at Berlin.
It's weird. It's funky. I mean, I kind of like it, but I kind of don't. You can never go full throttle there. Like, I like how 3 and 4 is. You come off the bottom, right next to the wall, go over the grate, straight to the checkered flag, and then you're already turning again. So you're like 3/4 throttle most of the way around. You can never step on it. And of course, there's no backstretch wall either. And I dipped the tires off into the dirt a couple times, and it scares the crap out of you a little bit. You're like, oh, but it's a weird track. I don't know how I feel about it.
It probably makes it feel a little bit more of a challenge than some of the other places that you've been. And to me, I think it's great for drivers to race on a track that's got a character in it. they repaved Daytona, but now it's starting to get some of that characteristics back to it, and it's not so smooth. And I think that just makes it more fun for the driver.
And that's really, like you said, it's not smooth. It's very surprising. My first time out there, how bumpy the backstretch was. Like, to me, it's Daytona. It should be perfect. It's like freshly paved asphalt and like driving down the highway, and I'm like, like it's not anything like I expected. So it
Have
comes
a
with a
mouth
little
guard.
love.
Yeah, I've heard that many times at places and some tracks, like you said, from the outside looking in, it looks characteristically different or smoother or whatever it might be, and you get in it and you're like, no. We talked to somebody else recently about that, and they said a very similar thing to what you just said. They said Daytona is very deceiving. You think it's very smooth and very this and very that, and it is not. And so, what did you?
And I think if you really pay attention to the cars on the backstretch, if you really watch them, and you can see them, they look like this when the lights are hitting them. They're moving up and down because they're hitting all those bumps and stuff back there. And it looks so nice at night when the lights are shining on the cars.
And there's this big bump going into one too that it totally upsets the car because you want to be on the line or right by it, and that's where the bump is. So if you go in a little bit higher, you can miss it some, but as soon as you hit that bump, the car gets upset, moves up off the line, and it's not fun doing 170 hitting that bump and trying to keep it where you want it.
Is that
Trying
over
to
the
chase
tunnel?
the car up the hill.
Was that over the tunnel? Is that about where the tunnel is?
A little past it.
Okay. Because where you're describing, I was like, I can't think of where the tunnel is in relation to it. Now, what did you think the first time you had the opportunity to run in Daytona?
I was excited. I was nervous. I actually didn't know what to do. I should have known this. Nobody told me full throttle all the way around. And I get out there and I'm like, okay. And kept going faster. I'm like, okay, I think I can leave it in. And it was really neat, the G-forces and everything to it. But after like 4 or 5 laps, I pulled in. They're like, well, what'd you pull in for? I said, I was bored and nobody told me what to do. Like, by yourself out there, it's cool for the experience, but it's boring by yourself.
Yeah, well, that makes sense because there's only so many lines that you can do, and there's only so much you can do to increase speed.
Yeah.
You're pretty much what you got is what you got, for sure. But tell us, how in the world did you move up to the ARCA series? How were you able to do that?
It wasn't planned. It was just timing. What is it? We're in 24, I believe it was. January 2nd, I think. Mike Clayton called me, and he used to be one of the Xfinity owners with Harmon and Keller. And I've known him for a long time through the youth ranches. And he's like, he had mentioned before about maybe trying to get them to put me in an Xfinity car, and you don't put much thought into it. It's just like, okay, if it happens, it happens. Well, he called me. He's like, hey, I was with Harmon, just letting them know, put your name out there again. They're looking for an ARCA driver. I'm like, yeah, that'd be interesting. So I hung up with him, and I had a voicemail already from Jeremy that helps Harmon, and he asked me if I'd be interested going to Daytona and testing. I'm like, yeah, of course. I'm like, but how much? So
Yeah.
he gives me a number, and I'm like, okay. And I call Dad, and Dad's all excited too. He's like, even if this don't go anywhere, this is an awesome opportunity. We're doing it. I'm like, all right. So we went and tested with them, and it was fun. There were some hiccups, of course, with the car, and we shared it with some of the other drivers from Rayum's team, but it was a good experience. So then we decided we were going to try and run Daytona with them, but I had a mishap at qualifying, and we didn't qualify in. So that was the first attempt at Daytona, but that's how I got into ARCA. So from there, I got a message on Facebook from Jason, who worked at City Garage, and he wanted to know about sponsoring because he saw that I was a local driver and they're out of Lakeland as well. And so me and my dad met with him. We talked for a while. We told him what we knew about ARCA, which wasn't much at the time. He went back to Stuart, told him about our conversation and everything. Well, Stuart had been talking to the ARCA officials and the series and everything about wanting to start a team if there's any help for that. And then he goes through all his stuff, decides he's going to do a team, and reached back out to see if I'd be interested in driving for him. And so, of course, you say yes. And that's how we got to where we are now. We've just been driving with City Garage and Orlando Health and doing the best we can.
It's really neat when all the dots line up, and it's about making those connections. And you created a name for yourself for winning all those races and having over 20 championships that led up to this point for you to have the opportunity to jump in an ARCA car. That is really neat.
Yeah, and you never know who you're going to meet that is that next step for you. It might not be right then. It might be something down the road, or it might be someone they know that they happen to talk about you to them, and that might open another door. So you just never know. I mean, I figured I was too old by now, that it wasn't going to happen, and then when it did happen, it's like, well, this is pretty cool. Like, how far can I take this?
Right.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it's not just your driving ability, but it's also how you can market products and how well of a speaker that you are. And, all of those things come into play when someone is looking for a driver to fill a spot. And you're absolutely correct. I've heard other drivers that are older that are now racing, say, in the NHRA. And they say you always have to treat everyone with respect, listen to them, give them direct answers, because you never know who you're talking to. You could be talking to a multi-million-dollar person who wants to get in and sponsor someone and find a driver for a team. And so you're absolutely correct. You have to.
I inadvertently did that at Toledo, my first time at Toledo 2 years ago. After the race, I finished 12th, I believe, which for my second race, yeah, out of 20 some odd cars, I was happy with it. And I was back at the trailer waiting for my team. They were still in the pits, loading everything up. And this older gentleman on a scooter comes up to me and saying how good I did, and shook my hand and said just typical stuff you'd expect to hear from someone. And I'm just thinking it's a fan, someone like, okay. And he's like, do you know who I am? I'm like, no, I don't. And just like that. And I'm like, you have a V on your hat. Are you with Venturini? He's like, something like that. I said, are you Mr. Venturini? He said, and I just put my foot in my mouth. He said, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, it's nice to meet you.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's an honest answer.
Okay.
That just goes to show that you treat them the same.
Yeah, it's like one of the biggest names in ARCA, and I didn't know who he was. I didn't know his face yet, and I'm just like, okay, hey, I don't know who you are. What's up?
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
But actually, no, like I said, that is a really good response that you gave. You were nice and friendly and cordial and all that stuff, and without knowing who he is. So that just goes to show that that's how you work with people outside. How you work with sponsors, how you work with fans. Just you being you, and you being as good as you are and friendly and stuff. It just goes to show how much you help promote the people that work with you.
And the sponsors like being part of everything. We have one, L5, and he has flown out to Nashville to the race. He was at testing. He's plans on coming to more of the races, and he just loves the atmosphere that we provide. Like, he's said that he likes how my mom made the sandwich wraps and offered him some, and just how we brought him into like the pit area to see everything that's happening, and just that feel like family. And I think that matters a lot to the sponsors, because it's more than just getting their name out there. It's some of them want to be involved and feel like they matter to the team, and so it's good to be like that.
Well, I want to mention something on sponsorship, because right now I see a lot of ARCA teams out there that are looking for sponsors for the General Tire 200 that's coming up February the 14th. And I tell you, if you want to get in racing as a company, ARCA is a great platform to start from. It's not really all that expensive. When I start looking at some of these I hate using sponsor marketing opportunities with these teams, it's relatively cheap, and you get a lot of airtime during the race, especially when you're at Daytona. Everybody's eyes on that race, no matter if it's ARCA, Truck Series, Xfinity, all the way up to, well, it's not Xfinity anymore, it's O'Reilly's.
O'Reilly's, yeah.
And the Cup Series. So everybody's there that whole week, watching all of this. And I mean, I seen like, I don't know, quarter panels. It was like $1,500 to have your company logo or something like that behind the numbers.
Yeah.
It's very inexpensive for a team to sponsor one of these programs.
It is, and Daytona's going to be on Fox, and every other race this year and every year is televised, either on FS1 or FS2, sometimes on Flow Racing. So you're going to get that exposure that instead of paying for commercial time that you might get for 30 seconds, you can get a lot more time-wise on TV for sponsoring a race car.
Right.
And the demographics are good. So, like, if your company, say, is in North Carolina, you might want to hold back, and you may not want to spend money down in Daytona because it might not benefit you as much as it would in your backyard at Hickory. So, I mean, there's all different opportunities and demographics to help these companies be able to make money, and that's what it is. It's a partnership. The drivers get familiar with the product. So if someone comes up and say, "Hey, what is this product? What is it? What is it for?" You're already educated, and you can go into the spill. You're their salesman. You're their spokesperson when you're out there on the track.
Yeah, and like you're kind of their walking billboard too. If they sponsor to have stuff on your fire suit, you're walking around getting pictures taken with that for advertising for them. Like you said, just telling what the product is and selling it to people. And so there's many assets of when sponsoring race car drivers. There's sometimes you get the hauler too, get stickers on the hauler, and that's the moving billboard down the highway. So
right,
you
and
get
a
a
lot
lot
of
for it.
lot of these tracks, a lot of the transporters park in the middle. Okay, so they'll have the tops of them done, the sides, obviously the front, so you can see them from the stands, you can see them from different areas. So they will be stationary and available all the time, even when the car is not out there. So there's a lot of simple things that people just don't realize, and it goes a long way, especially because Mitchell and I, when we go to events, and it's like if we have somewhere we need to be at a scheduled time and stuff, and so somebody's telling us, "Hey, go to such and such hauler, make a left," that kind of thing. And we're like, "Where's it at?" And it goes, "Well, get elevated." We get elevated, and they're like going, "Hey, go to the one that's got the yellow top, it's got this flag," and boom, you go from there. So that's a simple marketing thing, and it holds true and exactly what you're talking about too. So simple little things go a long way.
Yeah.
So we're talking with marketing partners. So tell us a little bit about your marketing partners for 2026.
So for ARCA, our major sponsor is Orlando Health. They have been with us since the very beginning. And I don't know if I'm supposed to, that we have them for a while. I don't know what I can say, but
That's
we're
a good
very
way of
grateful
putting
to
it.
have
Yes.
them. Yeah. We get to do a lot of community events with them, go to the different hospital openings, do family fun day kind of things. So we get to bring the car and get with the community, and we did a couple parades too with them for Lakeland and Bartow, so that was really fun. So we have them, L5, which is a local shipping company, and that's what I mentioned, that he comes out to the races as well and enjoys just hanging out with us and seeing the cars and the speed and the smells and everything that goes along with it. Let's see, we Access IT, they've come on this year, and we have next Wednesday a big event with them in New Smyrna before Speed Weeks kicks off for us anyway. And all their people, employees, board members, potential sponsors, we just have a big VIP event going on with them next week. Locally for me, I have Race Car Engineering that sponsors Sunoco Race Fuels and Southern Racing Fuels. And we're Florida Sheriff Youth Ranches. They help with the ARCA as well as locally. They're our partners. And Grable Rescue. They're with us on the ARCA car. They are very badass people that if any Americans are in need, they will help. Um, they just helped get, I don't know her name, but the president of Venezuela
Mm-hmm.
helped rescue her and brought her back. The wildfires, they go help with that. If someone is detained in another country, can't get out, they go over there, they'll break you out and bring you home. So
Oh wow,
if you need anything done, they will get it done for you.
That's awesome.
that is
Yeah.
great.
So
And
we have a
also,
lot of cool partners and very diverse too.
and City Garage is still with you, correct?
Oh yes, that's the team owner, City Garage Motorsports. Yes.
Okay, okay. I was there thinking City Garage. City Garage sounds it's like I want to remember
So,
it.
so tell us a little bit about the people behind the scenes. Tell us a little bit about your owner. Talk about some of the people working the shop. You also have some drivers in that racing family, and also your father is part of the
Yes.
racing.
Yes. So we have Stuart and Mike. They are the owners of City Garage. Mike came on board as an owner towards the end of last year, and it's been very helpful. They have split the duties in different roles. We brought on Ryan Bell as the second crew chief, and he has been whipping the cars into shape, tearing them down, building them back up, pointing out what needs to be fixed and everything. So he's been putting in a lot of time since, was it maybe October, November of last year until now
Jeez.
still. And he commutes back and forth. Um, my dad, he's also crew chief still. And he actually got to spot for me a few times last year when we were short a spotter. So he's been putting in a lot of hours trying to get these cars ready for both Daytona and the short tracks, all the East Series, because that's right around the corner. So we need to start working on those. We got my new teammate, Quinn Davis. She's going to be running all of the East Series races with me. She's up in Tennessee. She's great. Um, Her favorite is Nashville too, so we'll see how that turns out. Last year, I beat her by one spot, but we exchanged positions a few times during the race, so it'll be fun. Ryan's getting us making better equipment for us this year, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this year turns out. And then Logan's in the 86 for Daytona next week. We got points and teamed up with Alex Club, so we're going to be running an 86 instead of an 85. So she's in the 86 for Daytona and I believe Talladega. So she's doing the super speedways. But yeah, we have a pretty good team. Yes, that one. Yep, that was because we had to run 86 last year for me as well. And it helps get us into the race because there's going to be a lot of cars and only 32 qualify on time. And if you don't have points, then you're SOL sometimes. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. That
I'll
makes
tell you
sense. I was
what.
like, that's a good looking car.
That thing is sharp.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like it even better this year. There's a lot more orange to it. It's pretty slick.
It probably helps your spotter as well.
Oh yeah. Cuz I mean, look at the teams. The cars that all look exactly the same font, same color. The numbers look similar. And I'll imagine that on the backstretch of Daytona with your binoculars and trying to pick out which one it is when they're all in a pack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our orange is good.
They're radioing in. Well, best of luck. I know you're in there somewhere, so
Yeah.
just keep it clean, have fun, and I'll see you on the backside. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, gee whiz. It's like, well, thanks. We need
Yeah.
to think this through. Well, you got a lot more going on than I realized. I mean, I knew you had a teammate coming in, but I did not know the extent of how many races were planned and looking at, and one's running super speedway primarily, and still keeping the trucks going and stuff. Is like, when do you have enough hours in a day?
You know, there's weekends that I don't race and I don't know what to do. I just sit at home and I'm like, I'm bored.
Right.
And I have a regular job during the week, so that keeps me occupied. And then the weekends we get to do events like this Friday, NASCAR has invited us to go to an elementary school in Daytona. So Allie Owens, I think she's heading it up, and we're bringing our car. Stuart's bringing that. The team's going to be there, City Garage, and Logan and myself will also be there. And we're just be showing the elementary kids what there is in NASCAR and what they can do and all the different aspects of it. So
I think
we get
that
to
is
do a lot
awesome.
of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that is, and Mitchell's right. That is so cool. So cool to be involved in the community like that. And a lot of the people y'all are working with, I think is really, really great. Not only to help people, but to help young people and the community. You're not just in one thing. So I commend you on that. Commend you on helping so many different avenues.
And it's fun getting to open up people's eyes and minds to racing that don't know anything about it. Like when we go to some of the events, it's not a racing event. It's an event for maybe a heart walk or
Right.
a hospital opening or baseball, something. And there's like, oh, just cool race car. And then they start like really getting into it. And then, of course, they're shocked when they see that I'm the driver. They're expecting some guy that's standing over here, like, no, hi, it's me.
Right.
And then they're even more turned into a fan. So it's fun to convert people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned going to the elementary school and, and sharing that with those kids. It goes and lets them know, hey, just because you are a female doesn't mean that you can't jump in one of these cars and start a racing career. It's that opportunity is there if you want to go that route. And even though if you don't make it to say the ARCA series, I mean, there's so many other racing
Right.
platforms on the oval. I mean, you got your legend cars. You never know. You might strike interest in a girl or a boy. They go home, mom and dad. Hey, I want to race. And the next thing you know, they're going New Smyrna and running a quarter midget.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's how they start off running quarter midgets and go through. I mean, the sky's the limit on oval track. There's so many different classes.
Right. And there's more than just the driver. You could be a team member, crew chief, media, tech person, flag person. I don't know if you know, the flag person for ARCA is a lady. It's a woman.
Oh.
So, yeah. So you can do anything.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we don't. When Mitchell and I, whenever we go up and speak to racers and stuff like that, we're not. We don't know who the driver is. Okay, so we just walk up. It could be a whole group of people are like going, "Who's the driver?" And it's like, we've interviewed a lot of lady racers, and we're like going, "Oh, okay, can we ask you a couple questions?" A couple times they look at us like that we don't react. It's like going, "No, no, no." I mean, I watched what you did. I just did not know who the driver was. So yeah, we don't care about that. We absolutely don't. We look at the racer.
I get that a lot sometimes at like autograph sessions when I get out and they're like, oh, that's a girl. Like they'll pick out what trucks they like best. Like at New Smyrna, I have my blue truck and they like the blue. And they're like, oh, you drive this? Yeah. And like, or you'll hear the kid that's out in the stands like, Mom, it's a girl. And they're like, you can hear him yelling.
And you're like, yes, it is. I know.
Yeah. I'll be in full fire suit and they're like, who drives this? Or do you drive? It's one of those here's your sign moments.
Right.
Like,
Right.
Yeah.
It is. Speaking of, we interviewed a nice lady, Miss Autumn, a couple weeks ago, who actually she races in super comp and drag racing. She drag races a dragster, but she also has started her own fire suit company, primarily tailored to women. Okay, for their suit needs, and so I never honestly thought about that till we were talking to her. We just thought about fire suits. I mean, that's it. And she goes, no. She goes, different needs. Never like going, oh, okay. So she is addressing that. That's something I never once thought of.
Yeah. And
she's young.
we need it.
She's what, 18?
Yeah, she's 18.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh,
good for her.
She started it when she was still in high school, and she
awesome.
did it herself from her house, and she's still bottom floor, but still the initiative. She saw a need, and that's what it is. It's not about the some people considering the appearance of it and stuff. And of course, you want things nice and neat, but hers is the the proper fitment for ladies and more what they need as far as movements and different stuff. And I'm like, that's brilliant. Never once thought about that. So that's a really good thing. Is she's actually venturing out gradually into other associations, into other forms of racing. So it's great, absolutely. But I tell you, I'm still amazed. I'm still stuttering at over 20 championships. I really am. The more you think about that, over 20 championships, and you started in Legends, it's absolutely amazing. But here's not a trick question, but here's a question. If you had the opportunity to drive anything, and it doesn't matter, it could be a street car, it could be a race car of some kind, it could be anything, what do you think it might be?
Well, I've driven Lamborghini, I've driven Rolls Royce and Bentley, so those are off my list. I want to drive a monster truck. That's my thing.
I did not see that coming. I did not see that coming. I was expecting something like, a wing sprint car, a NASCAR, or something like that. I did not expect a monster truck.
My mom will not let me in a sprint car no matter what. She has put her foot down many times. Even by myself on the track, she won't let me. I have got to do a winged figure eight by myself on the track, but no sprint cars allowed. I want to do a monster truck, though.
Wow.
Oh. Yeah,
I'm pretty jealous of Ryan Vargas. He's gotten into the Monster Jam, and he's been doing very well. He was El Toro Loco a few times last year, and he even won some of his events. So I'm like, okay, it's a possibility. I want to do this.
Oh, wow. We got to keep our eyes open, Mitchell, for that one. That opportunity arises. We've got to share that. And Miss Becca, when you get that call, please let us know.
Okay.
Absolutely love it. I took my wife to a Monster Jam. She absolutely loved it. And us too. That's a lot of fun. It really, really is. But tell us, where's the next race going to be at?
My next race, ARCA-wise anyway, is Hickory on March 28th. We will be testing at New Smyrna before that, just to make sure both cars are good to go. But my next race locally, it's either going to be Cordele or New Smyrna. Not sure which one comes first, or if we're going to make the ride up to Cordele, but right. I got a few coming, and being in Florida, as you know, we have winter right now, surprisingly, but there's no winter, there's no downtime. So you race from January to December. Like, we had a race January 4th, the Red Eye at New Smyrna, and then our charity race is mid-December. So there's no downtime. So we have another full schedule.
That's both good and bad. It really is. If you're in points, it's bad because you don't have no real downtime between seasons, typically. At least in our form of racing, if you have something major to do. And the good thing is you're racing all the time, or the opportunity.
And of course, like, we have the rain here, so you don't know if it's going to rain. Like, weather people, it don't matter. Right,
well, the weather people, they can make thousands and thousands of dollars and get the weather right maybe once a week. I wish they had their job.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We got to apply to be the weatherman. We really, really do, because it doesn't matter if you get it right or get it wrong. Yep, it's like old television program. What's the weather? Go on top of the building, just look out. Yep, that's what it looks like.
Just say everything's 20% chance, and this, if it rains,
just leave it at that.
You're losing that 20% area. So,
you're still in it.
Yeah.
Now, tell us, Miss Becca, how can everybody get a hold of you, and how can everybody follow you on social media?
So, Becca Monopoli Racing for Facebook, and I'm on Instagram as well. It's BeckBeck59X, or you can just search my name. Look for all the Becca videos and shirts and everything. Yes.
I like that one. I did not see that coming. I like that. But I tell you, so now also, can they get a hold of you through your Facebook page if they need to reach?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing. But we encourage everybody, especially if you're in the state of Florida, to reach out to Miss Becca, to follow her racing, but to also get involved. You can hear just how accomplished she is, how much racing that she loves to do. Okay, and all the people that's working with her and she's working with. So everybody needs to get involved with that. I mean, because we want to see
I need more followers.
We need people to get involved and to call you and want to work with you on the team. That's what we need. We want to see we want to see you back at Daytona next year, and possibly even Talladega.
Possibly in a truck.
There you go. There you go. There's a lot of possibilities there, but
Yes.
you're definitely putting the work in. That's for sure. Your whole team. Gee whiz.
Oh yeah.
Mitchell was telling me
lot of
so much
hours.
stuff. Telling me so much stuff through the week, and I'm like, "When you're kidding, right?" And he goes, "No, man." He goes, "Really? She's super busy, So it's
Well, and that you are an excellent driver.
absolutely, absolutely 20 plus championships, over 90 wins amongst the 4 series of stuff, and it's I mean, just like I said, I'm still scratching my head over that. Jeez.
And hopefully it won't take you that long to get to 100.
I've been stuck at 97. I got 97th last year at the beginning of the year, but then I had 96 for like a whole year and a half. I need the racing gods to come back on my side, and let's just get to 100 this year. I need 3 wins. Come on, that's all.
There you go.
And if they're in
Again.
ARCA, even better. They should count for 2.
There you go.
Right.
There you go. It's like going because then to get the win in ARCA and then move on and get the championship in ARCA, and kind of just make it a clean sweep. But not calling shots ahead of time. But but
Hey, that's the plan.
That is the plan. But I tell you, Miss Becca, we absolutely appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule, coming on here and talking with us tonight. And but like I said, we wish you nothing but the best. And we're definitely going to be following you because now we know some people in ARCA, and we're definitely going to be following because, like Mitchell and I talked about, ARCA is a fantastic series. It really, really is. You run the big tracks, small tracks, even one on dirt, and it really absolutely lets the driver's ability shine. And so it's really great. And we encourage everybody to go out to your local track, support your local track. Wherever that might be, whatever kind of motorsports that might be, go out and support your local track. And whenever you see Miss Becca at one of the local tracks here in Florida, go up, say hello to her. You know what I mean? And get involved and cheer her on.
Well, Robert, you actually took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to tell Becca next time you run at New Smyrna, hey, please let me know. Maybe I can run down there. It's not too far from me. I live in Stark, so it's maybe 2-hour ride. To get down to New Smyrna.
Yeah, us too. It's not bad. Yeah.
Love
Yeah,
to
it's
come down
about the
and
same.
watch you race.
I'm sorry?
I said I'd love to come down and watch you race.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and if we have enough heads up, possibly we can come there and talk to you, do a little quick interview, and some of the other racers there and the people working with you.
Of course.
That sounds great. But once again, Miss Becca, we appreciate you coming on tonight, and we encourage everybody to go follow her. Go as soon as this broadcast is over. We want you to go over to Miss Becca's pages, racing pages, follow her, reach out to her, and share all you can.
Yeah, share so she can get her followers up.
Yes, please. And send me your best bacaw. You guys too.
Be careful what you ask for. Be real careful what you ask for. But absolutely. And just so you know, Miss Becca, that this interview is going to upload on YouTube. It's also going to upload on Kick. It's also going to upload onto Spotify. So we're working on covering different platforms. So you can share this with your friends and stuff, and they can come back and review and tell us just how bad we are.
No.
I'm kidding. You know what I mean? But once again, Miss Becca, we appreciate you coming on tonight. We
Well,
wish
thank
you
you for
nothing
having me. It was fun.
We wish you nothing but the best this year.
Yep. Good luck,
Thank you.
2026.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a
take
good
care.
night, Miss Becca.
Night.
Bye. I tell you what, that was awesome. But I tell you what, we're going to take a little commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to close the show down.
All right.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit. We'll protect it.
Ready to take your engine to the next level? Scorpion Racing Products delivers precision-engineered, high-performance rocker arms that dominate the track. 100% CNC machined in the USA with aerospace-grade aluminum for unmatched strength and durability. Our rocker arms handle extreme conditions with multiple ratios available to fit your needs. Backed by our exclusive lifetime warranty. When performance matters, choose Scorpion Racing Products. Proven, reliable, unstoppable.
With more than 30 years of engine and drivetrain experience, Big Stuff is your one-stop total power management solution. Whether you're controlling a 600 horsepower street car and want the best drivability, or have a 6,000 horsepower race car, need the most bulletproof, reliable control hardware, Big Stuff can do it all. All of our components are designed and manufactured right here in the USA, including our computers, wiring harnesses, touchscreen displays, and more. Nothing is built offshore, and we take pride in being one of the only automotive aftermarket manufacturers that can say this. Learn more at bigstuff3efi.com or connect with us on Facebook and Instagram for more information.
I tell you what, Robert, what a great show tonight. Have our second ARCA Series driver to join us. Something that we've been wanting to do for quite a while now is to kind of be a little diverse and get in a little bit into the oval world and bring people on and let them tell their stories right along with those who drag race.
Absolutely.
Just a great opportunity for us as it is for her. I think it's a greater opportunity for us. But I tell you what, it won't be long, Robert. We're going to turn right around. We'll be back on here next Thursday, and I'm going to let you tell who we got coming on.
This Thursday. It's not next Thursday. It's this Thursday. We got Josh Hamming of IHRA. He is the head technical director for the entire association. He's going to come on, the Drag Racing Association. He's going to come on and talk to us about the exciting year coming up this year for IHRA, what they're looking at doing, and I'm sure we're probably going to find out a little bit more about the tracks that they bought, Memphis being one of them, and Kansas, and as far as how that progress is going. And I tell you, it's really exciting. IHRA has really rocked the racing world over the past year. Between not only did Daryl come in and buy the IHRA drag racing, but then he went and he bought Tractor Pulling Association, Offshore Powerboats Association, Small Watercraft Racing Association, and he's bought a lot of tracks and bringing them all underneath the IHRA umbrella, and bought the WDRA.
And not to mention Stock Car.
Yes, Stock Car Association. I thought I said that. Yes, Stock Car Association, and has brought many different circle tracks and drag strips, and brought them all together. Plus, they bought the WDRA, brought all those tracks under one flag of IHRA. So we're going to talk a lot about different things, but it's really going to be interesting because he came from the NHRA side on the professional teching side, so then he's on the IHRA side of this. So we get to learn a lot. So we're looking forward to it. And Mitchell, I know you've been busy over the weekend and the beginning of this week, all the way up to yesterday. We were talking to each other yesterday at Gainesville for the first day of sick week. Mitchell's been out there previous couple days over testing a sick week, talking to people, taking pictures and videos. You'll be able to see a lot of those on OTS, On the Spot Motorsports Media. And we also have some videos and clips that we're going to continue to load up. But we have a lot of people we have lined up. Not only after Josh, then we have Miss Melissa Wine coming on, and she is a drifter from the West Coast. Okay, she runs in the different associations. I got to see if it's called Pro Drift or something. I can't remember the exact name of it, but she runs in a drifting association, and it's very, very interesting learning from somebody that's in that field, because I'm unfamiliar with it. And when we were talking to her, it's absolutely fascinating learning on how you drive and why you drive what you do, and how they do a point scaling, point system. And I'm like, it is really, really neat. So we look forward to that.
All the way to the setups, because those cars are set up so wildly with the camber and stuff. So that's going to be another thing that we'll talk about is how those cambers are set up. But wanted to go back to Josh real quick,
Yes.
coming on this Thursday night. It's going to give a lot of people the opportunity that are sportsman racers that are actually thinking about going over to the IHRA to go in the comments and ask questions and get it straight from Josh on different things that they may have to do to their car or may not be allowed by the IHRA before they really start getting too deep into the season. So, we're going to be sharing that through all those sportsman pages at the same time that we're having Josh on to broaden out the spectrum of people to join in and ask those questions.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, like I said, we're looking forward to listening to them and hearing what's going on because this year on the sportsman side of IHRA, there is a lot going on. The big thing, which I think is fantastic and are actually a really, really good move, actually a couple things, but one good thing is going from NHRA Factory Stock Showdown, and they've changed the name of IHRA and they're calling it Pro Stock.
Right.
Heads up, and to a lot of us purists, it's really the way to go. So it's good that they're recognizing the roots and actually what Pro Stock originated on, factory-produced cars. And they're recognizing the factory stock shootout cars, which they ran last year, but they're giving them the designation of the name Pro Stock this year. So we know several people at both the Ford camp and Chevy camp and the Chrysler camp, actually, that will be competing in that. So
which, that discussion has been brought up, Robert, before in NHRA.
Yes.
A lot of people had thought about, changing it and let that be the new Pro Stock platform.
Right.
For that sanctioned body. But I tell you what, a lot of things is happening, and I'm very proud of what we have been accomplishing here on the Spot Motorsports Media. Hey, speaking of sick week, I was out there for all the testing and day 0 and day 1. Unfortunately, my job duties come first, and I'm not able to travel and go to Valdosta today. They got 2 days to travel to Bradenton, and then they go up to Orlando and back at Gainesville. And so we'll be out there Saturday for pictures, videos, and hopefully that'll be a great day to also do some interviews with some of the drivers. And no, we're not just going to pick out the ones who are running, in the 6-second range, 7-second range. We're actually going to talk to a little bit of everybody and what they have brought and the reason why they participate in 6 week. Because it's not about just going out there and running your car, but it's about the adventure of making it from track to track.
Absolutely. I mean, what you're doing with any drag and drive event, actually drag racing in its entirety, you're not doing it for the money, clearly.
Right.
Okay, but in drag and drive, it's the adventure, and that you can't put a price tag on it. Well, you can, but you can't. You know what I mean? You're making memories. Okay, and when we were there yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, for day 1, Mitchell was there for day 0 and day 1. It was phenomenal how many people were there spectating. It was amazing how many people. And
with the temperature.
Oh yeah, and I mean it was when I got there and warmed up. It was like 32 when I got there, and when you started, it was like in the 20s. Okay, and luckily the wind was not kicking yesterday. Thank goodness. The day before it was, but not yesterday. So that's a good thing. But I think they said it was 340 something or 350 cars were starting day 1. And there was a couple unfortunate incidents. Everybody's okay, but a couple unfortunate things. People, scraping their car a little bit or braking or something like that. But for the most part, everybody got on the road. And a lot of people, due to the weather and everybody working very, very hard at the track to make the track as good as they could make it in those conditions, a lot of people had their personal best. So,
and I tell you, if there was a hard luck award, it has to go to Goldstone.
Brian Goldstone, yes.
And, had an incident at the beginning during testing. Went to Sam Traps, tore up the front end of the car, had to get a whole new front end, shipped down here in a hurry. Was able to get it wrapped by a great friend of mine, Tim Goolsby, he wrapped it up.
Yep, yep.
And he goes back out there, and his first pass on day one was really good. I want to say it was 620s.
628, but the speed, it was like
Right.
241.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It rattled like 100 foot out. It shook just a little bit or moved just a touch, but he sucked it up and motored down there. I mean, that video is forthcoming. It was really, really moving. And
Yes, Tim, it definitely will. Please tune in. If you've got some questions, feel free to ask them. We're going to throw them up on the board, and we're going to ask Josh to answer them.
Yeah.
We don't want to overload him, but
Yeah,
it'd
because
be a
he
great
might not
opportunity. It'd be a
he
great
might not have
opportunity.
the answer right away, but
Right.
at least we'll
He
put
can
it
get
out
back
there.
to you.
Right. And Tim, we're looking forward to talking to you in a couple weeks too. And I'm going to ask you just everything, because between you and Bob Bender and everybody up there in D1, y'all get a lot of racing in as much as you can. And everybody I've met up there, well, everybody in general, just been really nice, down to earth people. So really looking forward to it. But you're absolutely right, Mitchell. So we encourage everybody to. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to Tim Goolsby, GRE. Okay, Goolsby Racing Enterprise. If you need hats, T-shirts, business cards, printing, graphics on shirts, or anything like that, you need to reach out to him. He came in on his off time because somebody at Brian gave Tim a call that said, "Hey, can you wrap the front end of a car?" He didn't even know whose it was or anything. He just knew that somebody was in need, so he did his best to help. He got there and he's like going, "Huh, okay." And luckily he had the colors on hand and all this stuff, and he got it wrapped and did the graphics as far as matching the graphics really, really well. Unfortunately, Brian had a situation where he had an incident.
Yeah, on the second run, on day one, he went down right before 1,000 foot. It kind of got away from him, went across the center line a little bit, and came back into the wall in the left lane, and that pretty much that summed up his week. And I really hate to see somebody hit the wall and ruin the weekend. But if there was a hard luck award, that guy deserves it. Jeff Lux was another one having some issues getting down the track, and you got to believe that track crew, the SICK track crew, they've done a wonderful job of trying to give everybody ample opportunity and great surface to run on. But unfortunately, the weather was the dagger. I would say day one there at SICK Week, and there was a bunch of cars that wasn't even able to make their second run, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And so we'll actually probably try to bring Derek Putnam back on, hopefully in a week or two after SICK Week. Just try to get him in and talk about those situations, what they kind of do when those issues arise. Because if there's someone out there that wants to participate, they will know beforehand, if this happens, this is what they do.
And,
so
yes,
they've done a great job out there working on the track. So
they did.
It's nothing on them. It's just the weather.
Back to Tim. Here's the shout out part. Not only did he come in and work late on the last minute to help another fellow racer with the wrapping, but then he was right back out at the track the next morning doing T-shirts for Gainesville Raceway and stuff. And he takes care of all the apparel for Gainesville Raceway, so all your novelty stuff you might want. And he was right there talking to customers, taking care of shirts, and handling things that need to be handled. Plus, between him and Rob Reynolds, they do RT Promotions. Yes. They have races they put on. So very, very busy. So we encourage you, support those that support racers. And he's a racer himself, very successful one. And he works very hard to help support other racers and other events and other tracks. So we encourage everybody. So thank you very much, Tim, for doing what you did. You didn't have to do it, but thank you very much for doing it. And Mitchell, also, thank you, Mitchell. Mitchell stopped in and helped a racer on the way out yesterday. I didn't see the man. I was at a different area when I left, so I didn't see him. But Mitchell saw him when he left, and man needed a hand, needed some parts, took him to the auto parts, brought him back, able to get what he needed, and got back on the road. So, Mitchell, thank you very much for taking the time and just helping somebody in need. Didn't necessarily have to be a racer, but just helping somebody.
Well, I seen something wonderful going on. It was a father and a daughter. She's 15 years old, and they're spending some quality time doing something that they both love, and building those memories to last a lifetime. And I'm telling you, it was 30 degrees when we pulled back around and asked them, do they need something? And I was just glad I was at the right spot at the right time, and was able to do that. And I told him, I said, hey, if you have any issues, here's my number. You call me. You need some other tools.
Right.
I got tools. I can bring them to you. Or if you can't get the car started and you're going to have to stay somewhere, I'll take you to a hotel, whatever you need. I'm not going to leave you out here in these cold conditions.
No. Nobody would do that. Nobody. You're absolutely right. Nobody would leave somebody else, especially in those weather conditions like that. And the thing about it is, people like Rollins Automotive there in Gainesville was helping people. I heard very much so between running parts or anything like that. Kevin Smith's shop was open right there in Gainesville to be able to help anybody that was in need. So there was quite a few people around, which is great. Yep.
Plain Motorsports over here in Stark, they would open up their garage for someone. It just shows you, the racing community is very strong, and even though we like to compete against each other, but we're all one big family moving forward and trying to support each other.
Absolutely. We got a couple people we've already spoken to, and they want to come on. We're going to wait till obviously after they finish competing and get our schedules lined up. So we look forward to talking to them. But we also would encourage everybody to go out there and continue, if you haven't already, follow us on Facebook. Also, we're really trying to pick up our YouTube page. We want everybody to go out there. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube page, go to On the Spot Motorsports Media. Okay, hit the subscribe, hit the bell to notify you of things. We're uploading this interview. We're uploading races. We're uploading different videos. So we're trying to build up that number. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Spotify. Follow us on Kick. Also, that's a new one to me, but it's still good.
Yep. And we're trying all different things out. But I tell you what, do not forget to tune in Thursday night, especially if you're a sportsman racer or a professional racer that wants some questions answered, or where Josh can get back with you and get your requests filled. So until then, we'll see you Thursday night.
Have a good night, everybody.